Hello and welcome back to ManVFilm. It's time for the Vinegar Syndrome and partner label October releases, and they are plentiful. We will try and get through the more notable of the releases, talk about them a little bit, the things what I'm feeling, what I'm interested in. Let's just jump into the big one straight away, which is Roadhouse 4K VSU. I've already ordered this. It came out a couple of weeks ago. I love Roadhouse. It's fantastic. It's throat-rippingly great, and I particularly love it. This is a 2-disc set with a 40-page book, region-free 4K, and a Region A Blu-ray on it. You know, James Dalton is as tough as nails bouncer with a reputation for using any and all force necessary to keep the peace. Meanwhile, Frank Tilghman, a country businessman, is having trouble maintaining control over the violent patrons and the crooked staff of his newly acquired club, the Double Deuce. Upon learning of Dalton's take-no-prisoners attitudes towards security, he makes a proposal too good for Dalton to refuse. Do you know what? I think the movie's fantastic. Like I said, instantly bought this one. So glad I did, because now the pound has tanked. It's jumped up a good chunk of money. Next up, we have part of the subscription, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. We knew it was coming, and now it's eventually here. Hopefully have it in time for Halloween. Hopefully, it would be nice to put it on that night. This is just a wonderful movie. In the dozen years since the original massacre, countless more people have vanished without a trace. Despite fears from the locals that Leatherface and his family of cannibals have resumed their murderous ways, the police seem disinterested in looking into the disappearances. But everything changes when a couple of yuppies are attacked by Leatherface while calling into a local radio show, hosted by DJ Vanita, thus blasting their ghastly murders over the airways. Fed up with the inaction of local enforcement, ex-lawman Lieutenant Lefty Enright decides to go rogue and sets out into Texas Hill Country in a bid to finally put an end to the terror which has been gripping his community. Meanwhile, Leatherface sets his sights and chainsaw on Stretch. Massive amount of extras. This is utterly ridiculous. Now, I'm not going to go through these because, wow, look at that list. It is extensive. What I will say is this is one of those slip covers within a slip cover. So that's a kind of other slip cover of it. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 is a kind of acquired taste. Tobe Hooper did what he could only do with a sequel by taking it in a completely 180 direction, not carbon copy of the first one, trying something ridiculously different and something that I've always particularly loved. Not for everybody, but man, can't wait to get that in 4K. Next up, we have The Werewolf versus Vampire Woman. Infamous werewolf Waldemar Daninsky has been brought back from the dead after a mortician carelessly removes a silver bullet from his heart. Unable to stop himself from viciously killing anyone in his path, he begins a search for a sacred cross which he can finally cure him of his monstrous affliction. Meanwhile, Genevieve and Elvira are scouring the French countryside for the final resting place of Countess Wondesa, who, according to legend, was a vampire who thrived on the blood of young virgins in order to retain her beauty. One night they encounter Waldemar, who offers to aid them in quest and leads the two women into Wondesa's tomb. However, while in the process of opening it, a drop of blood falls onto her skeletal remains, thus reanimating and rejuvenating her desire for blood and revenge from beyond the grave. Now faced with an evil capable of even more brutality than his own, Waldemar realizes that he is the only hope of defeating Countess Wondesa. Sounds kind of tropey, but kind of fun at the same time. It is another 4K, and this is, an interesting movie that I've never really heard of before. It's presented in its international export nude version with the original Spanish language soundtrack and newly translated English subtitles, as well as an English dub. So, the man who saw Frankenstein cry, Paul Naschy, the life and legend of a horror icon, 80 minutes. It's a feature-length documentary. Sounds pretty great. We've got some other extras there, like original theatrical trailers, 3 alternate title and end credit sequences. And this is one that I know nothing about. So I would love for you to tell me a little bit more about it. I'm getting it anyway as part of the subscription, but it's always good to have more info. Next up, we have Don't Open Till Christmas. I can't show you the other cover on this one because, well, it's a little bit of nudity there. It's just days before Christmas in London, but not everyone is full of good cheer, as a maniac with a pathological hatred of Santa Claus stalks the streets, butchering any man that's unlucky enough to be wandering around dressed as old Saint Nick. Not restricting themselves to any one method of murder, the twisted killer dishes out stabbings, gunshots, a castration, and even burns the face off one poor Santa on his own roasting chestnuts. As the bodies of slaughtered Father Christmases pile up, Chief Inspector Harris finds himself under increasing pressure to crack the case before the holidays cancelled for good. So this is from 1984. I've never heard of this one before, but I do love Christmas-themed horror, so I am kind of curious about that one. It's a region-free Blu-ray. Let's have a look at some of the extras. Don't Direct Till Christmas, a brand new interview with additional scenes director. Slashing Miss Murnau, a brand new interview with the actress. Perdom Babylonia, an interview with Lillian Perdom, daughter of the director. Berkshire Uncut, a career-spanning archival interview with Alan Berkshire. The making of a horror film, an archival making-of documentary. This should be interesting. Some behind-the-scenes stills, deleted and extra scenes, theatrical trailer, subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing. Do you know, I'm curious. I don't know too much about it, but it does look kind of fun, somewhat. I'll definitely give it a go. Part of the subscription anyway. Next up, we have Blood Delirium, which has a couple of nice cover arts there. Saint Simon, a deranged and maniac painter, believes that he is the Saint Simon, a deranged and maniac painter, believes that he is the reincarnation of Vincent van Gogh. When his beautiful wife dies unexpectedly, Simon suffers an emotional breakdown and insists that his necrophiliac butler, Herman, help remove her corpse from the cemetery and bring it back to his castle to help him retain his creativity, placing the body on display inside of a hidden crypt. Still struggling with his art, Simon soon meets a young woman named Sybil, who bears a striking resemblance to his late wife, and lures her back to the castle with the intention of making her into his new muse. Trapped inside, Sybil must find a way to escape the horrors taking place within the castle walls, as Simon has recently discovered that human blood may hold the key to unlocking his true creative potential. So this is a late 80s Italy film that was lost for a while, I believe. A non-stop assault on good taste with gut-pulling murders, graphic sex, and a whole host of other perversions. From 1988, it's sold already. It's a region-free Blu-ray, 2K transfer, new commentary, new interview with an actor, new interview with an actress. Once Upon a Time in the Italian 80s, a brand new interview with the assistant director. Yeah, Italian film from the 80s. Cool. Count me in. And we are on to, out of this subscription now, we have a Vinegar Syndrome archive title, Moon of the Wolf. We've moved away from the action kind of centric one. Maybe with October releases, they've been a little bit more horror. Let's see. Strange events have been going on in the small Louisiana town of Marsh Island. Local residents are shocked when the body of a young woman is discovered mutilated in a nearby swamp. Sheriff Aaron Whitaker is convinced he's dealing with a murderer like any other. However, some of the more superstitious locals think there may be a supernatural explanation. As more bodies begin turning up, it becomes evident that the sheriff may in fact be hunting a mythological creature known as a lycanthrope. In other words, werewolf. From 1972, 2, Region A Blu-ray from a 2K scan from its interpositive, Cutting Moon interview with editor, and a historical commentaries track. This one is one I've never heard of before. I do love 70s movies. I do love werewolf movies. There may be a reason that I've never heard of this one before. It's VSA. I'll probably pick it up anyway because I've got the full range so far, depending on how much it costs with the current conversion. And we are into a Pikaramate title. Come With Me, My Love, Satan Was a Lady. These just aren't for me. It's not the kind of thing I go to VS for, so I'm just going to quickly skip by that. Into Blood Hunter from VHS Hitfest. A vampire living in rural Kentucky takes a bite out of crime from 1996. It's a region free. It's got a making of featurette, a commentary, raw footage. It looks kind of rough and lo-fi. I like that small synopsis, but not enough to pick this one up. The last title, Corn Shucker, I never got either. I'm on the fence. We shall see. Next up, we have Utopia, release Vortex. This is one of those cases that pull apart from the middle. You can see the line down here. The last days of an elderly couple stricken by dementia. Directed by Gaspar Noé, starring Dario Argento, Alex Lutz, and Francois Lebrun. Again, I checked out the trailer. There's a trailer on the page here if you are interested. It just didn't jump out at me. Gaspar Noé can be somewhat creative, interesting, twisted, and unusual. This doesn't look like that. It just looks like a kind of run-of-the-mill story that doesn't really charge me with much emotion just looking at the trailer. It's probably something I would maybe watch given the opportunity, but I'm not going to add it to the collection. Next up, we have The Pact from Saturn's Core. Andre Graves inherits her grandmother's 19th century beachfront house, referred to the locals as the Charnel House. She soon finds that this seemingly innocuous homestead hides a cavalcade of ominous and spectral secrets. Andrea discovers a haunted mirror which seems to act as a portal to the afterworld, and soon the ghosts of the past begin to haunt her in the present. As the undead begin to lay siege upon the house, her only hope for salvation is to surrender the spirits and fulfill the pact. From 1995, it's a 75-minute film, region free. It's got a new commentary from 2022, a short film by Brad Sykes, the director, stills gallery, and reversible cover art. Again, short and video kind of thing. Not my kind of thing. Well, probably would be, but it's not something that I'm willing to pick up at the moment. Next, from Canny, we have What's Up Connection. When Hong Kong teenager Zhai Gaoshin wins a trip to Japan, he unleashes a chain of events that will soon bring him from the secluded fishing village of Potoi-o to Tokyo by way of Gamakasai. I'm probably butchering that. The so-called slums of Osaka. On the way, he connects with a barely competent tour guide named Kumi and the shape-shifting loudmouth and lovable thief Akane. Upon returning home with his merry band of schemers, Gaishin finds his family of resourceful counterfeiters on the verge of expropriation. Multinational conglomerate led by a ruthless Japanese developer has found the village and is determined to raise it to build a new centre of world trade. I had trouble finding any kind of trailers or that for this one. I would have been interested to see it. It's 120 minutes. Again, it's one that I would maybe watch if it was on a streaming service. It's got a bunch of interviews. It's got a booklet as well. But it's not my kind of film. Doesn't speak to me. Doesn't jump out to me. Next up, we have Villains from Gunpowder and Sky. When are we going to get Rocksteady Row? I keep demanding that movie every time and you just won't give it to me. Mickey and Jules are lovers on the run, headed southbound for a fresh start in the Sunshine State. When their car dies after a gas station robbery, they break into a nearby house looking for a new set of wheels. What they find instead is a dark secret and a sweet as pie pair of homeowners who will do anything to keep it from getting out. Starring Bill Skarsgård, Micah Monroe, Jeffrey Donovan, Kyra Sedgwick. It's got two commentaries, one from 2022, 2019 with the directors, Partners in Crime, a video essay by Sam Dehan, interviews with Skarsgård, Donovan, Sedgwick, Monroe, and deleted scenes. Now, I remember when this one came out, I saw the trailer. It was never super interesting to me. It didn't jump out as something that I had to see. Of course, let me know your opinion of the movie. We can have a look at it that way. Next, from Fun City Editions, we have Cutter's Way. I've wanted to see this for a while, so I'm quite happy to see this appear. I almost picked up the in-print edition, so happy to have it. The Ivan Passer's Cutter's Way, Jeff Bridges, John Hurd, and Lisa Eichhorn deliver exemplary performances as a trio of 60s casualties embroidered in a murder investigation that goes increasingly off the rails and threatens to swallow them all whole. I mean, I've seen the trailer. The cast's amazing. The story just sounds like something up my street. So yeah, it's a 2K restoration, a new Region A Blu-ray, a bunch of archival stuff, newly filmed interviews. It's a 2K restoration from the 35mm interpositive. We've got archival audio commentaries as well, and a booklet. Yes, all different kinds of yes. I cannot wait to pick up this one. Fun City Editions. It's a huge release, one that I will definitely get. Even at that high price, I'm still picking it up. Next up, we have In the Soup, which is an early 90s Steve Buscemi movie, if I'm right. Yes. The Sundance Jury Prize-winning comedy stars Steve Buscemi as Aldonfo Rollo, a broke filmmaker in love with the mysterious woman next door, Jennifer Beals. He puts out an ad offering to sell a movie script and gets a response from Joe, who says he'll raise the $250,000 to make the film. The problem is, Joe's a wise guy with a habit of committing oddball crimes. The cast is pretty amazing. Steve Buscemi, Seymour Cassell, Jennifer Beals, Sam Rockwell, Stanley Tucci, Jim Jarmusch, Carol Kane, Will Patton, Pat Moya, and more. It's amazing. I remember seeing this one a long while back. I don't remember too much about it. It's a region-free Blu-ray, a new 4K restoration of the film. Little Feat, the award-winning 2014 feature by Alexandra Ockwell. Wow, so it's got a second movie as well. Post-screening Q&A with the director, 32-page booklet. If money was no object, I would absolutely throw this one in as possibly picking up. I do have fond memories of it. From Decalogue comes Dakra. Ever since she was discovered naked and near dead decades ago, Mongia has been institutionalized with the tendency to bite her nurses. Grisly, frightening, and stuffed with howling thrill is the new Tunisian horror film Dakra, won over both Fright Fest and the Venice Film Festival. Now, checking out the trailer for this, it looks great. It looks really kind of atmospheric, spooky, creepy, all the kind of things you'd want. It's from 2018. It's a Region A Blu-ray out of North Africa. Introduction to Tunisian folk horror, which sounds really interesting. Provincial sorcery, folk horror, North African style. An interview with the filmmaker, English subtitles. Just check out the trailer. It looks pretty great. Again, I would definitely watch it if I had the chance to. Next up, we have Zero City, I think. This one's called, yes, from Deaf Crocodile. Now, part Kafka, part Agatha Christie, and part Monty Python. I mean, that just sounds something you'd have to check out at some point. It's so crazy. Yeah, so It's a surreal satire of communist. So, everyman engineer named Varakin who arrives in a remote city where nothing quite makes sense, but everyone acts as if it does. He's quickly drawn into the investigation of the suicide or possibly murder of a local restaurant chef. I don't want to read any more than that because I've got a feeling it's just this looks great, to be honest. Again, if money was no object, I'd probably throw it on, but I'm being a little bit more careful at the moment. It's a new 2K restoration. It's got a new video interview with the director, a new commentary. It's got a new booklet, essay writing. The trailer just looks crazy in a good way, kind of weird. I like the look of this one a lot. It's me one that I might pick up later on. There's a scene in the trailer with a cake in the form of the man's head that's getting cut open. It just looks weird and crazy in all the right ways. I kind of love that opening line as well. Part Kafka, part Agatha Christie, and part Monty Python. You know, it's pretty good. Next up, we have PVT Chat from Darkstar. Jack is an internet gambler living in NYC who becomes fixated on Scarlett, a cam girl from San Francisco. His obsession reaches a boiling point when fantasy materializes in reality, and Jack sees Scarlett on a rainy Chinatown street. So the trailer looks interesting enough. It's got a new commentary. It's got Annunciation, Bren Hosey's first feature film from 2014, deleted scenes, plus with commentary, a public chat between the producer and the director, and a short film, Little Labyrinth, by the director, and a booklet, an essay by Alexandra Heller Nicholas, and subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing. It looks interesting. A little bit of different, a little bit darker than I was expecting, and it was something, again, given the opportunity, I would check out. I don't know if I would pick up until after I'd seen it. Next, we have Death Zember, which I'm sure I've seen from Culture Shock. Feed yourself 24 macabre morsels of holiday horror as you work your way through this cinematic advent calendar from hell. From Christmas shopping carnage to deathbed carolers to the dreaded holiday with the in-laws, get ready for a month's worth of creative thrills and chills from an international array of horror directors. From 2019, it's a 2-disc Region A Blu-ray. It's got the making of, geez, I'm not going through all these. Look at those extras. Those are extensive. A strong possibility, this one. I may not go on it straight away just because we're controlling costs at the moment, but there, sounds pretty fantastic. I think the Amityville Curse is the fifth in the Amityville series, I think. A return to the most dangerous house in the world. After purchasing a property in Amityville, New York, Debbie and her husband invite 3 of their close friends to help renovate. Immediately uneasy in their new surroundings, Debbie begins experiencing shockingly vivid nightmares. Vague unease turns to outright terror when the home's inhabitants discover a brutal past and a mysterious visitor turns up dead. As the line between the nightmare and reality disappears, their focus shifts from renovation to escape. But it's not clear who can be trusted or who will make it out alive. From 1990, it's 91 minutes, a Region A Blu-ray, scanned in 2K for the original camera negative, audio commentary from Paul Krupp of Kinoxploitation.com, Amityville Memories, interview with the director, we've got an interview with an actress, interview with cinematographer, Rodney remembers, Gibbons reflects on his body of work, and a booklet featuring new motion picture Purgatory comic strip. Sounds interesting. Please let me know about this one because I love the Amityville box set that VS released. Amityville's great as well. I love the first 3 movies as well. I haven't seen this one, I don't think, but I would love to. If I don't pick it up this month, it's one that I will put on to get at the sale, I think. Next up, from Altered Innocence, we have Grand Jitty. Nadia, an aspiring ballerina with the scars to prove it, a masochistic pursuit in her dream career has left her body battered. A map of the tumultuous torture dancers withstand on daily basis. Working now as a dancing instructor for children rather than as the dancer she always wanted to be, she decides to visit the adult son she has been estranged from since he was a child. Again, checking out the trailer, well, there's an idea of the back of the cover. It looks interesting enough, but again, it's not one that jumps out as something that I need to see. And another, one of those movies that I'd watch once and it would just fall into the collection, never to see the light of day again. And finally, from AGFA is Shokorama Video Party. 4 movies, bone-chilling shockers of unbearable horror. Yeah, we've got The Naked Witch from 61, 59 minutes, 1-part documentary and all parts unreal. This Texas-made exploration of witchcraft from Larry Buchanan is a dreamy travelogue to parts unknown. From 1953, Violated, a precursor to Psycho, this DIY horror noir was filmed in the gutters of NYC and written by exploitation producer William Mishkin. From 1968, Ghosts of Hanley House, written, produced and directed by one filmmaker, Louise Shirrell. This phantasmagorical DIY version of The Haunting appears uncut for the first time on widely released home video. And from 1964, Passion in the Sun, also known as The Girl and the Geek. This carnival set rampager from Texas wildman Dale Berry is outsider trash art of the highest order. Region-free Blu-ray, preserved from the original Something Weird SVHS tape masters. Naked Witch has an archival commentary. It's got trailers and watch the full uninterrupted program in an all-night slumber party mode. That's quite interesting. I'm not going to lie, this sounds pretty great. There is a trailer there if you want to see some more information on it. Yeah, they sound curious oddities, in my opinion. So if we go back to the main page, we can see all the partner labels here. From these, I will be picking up Cutter's Way. It's probably the only one I will get this month, although In the Soup, the Amityville Curse, are in December, are some that almost made it, as well as Shokorama Video Party. But Cutter's Way, I think, is going to have to be the only one this month, simply because of costs. And back to the Vinegar Syndrome releases, I've already picked up Roadhouse. I've got the package coming my way, and I'll probably add Moon of the Wolf to the pickups as well. I wish I could get more. It's actually one of those good months where I wish I could pick up more of these movies, whether I have the time to watch them or the finances to pay for it. But, that's what we have. I would love to know what you think is the kind of standout releases. For me, Roadhouse, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, amazing. So happy to be getting them as part of the subscription. And there's so many other great movies there as well. Let me know what you're picking up. Whether you think this was a good announcement month or a bad one, whatever. I'd be curious to hear your knowledge on some of the movies that I didn't know too much about. As always, there's more content up here if you want to see more of my stuff. Don't forget to hit the like button because it helps these videos. And in the description box below are links to the Patreon, the membership program, and ManVFilm.com. All ways in which you can help support this channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time on ManVFilm.